I can probably say that this is not worth it at secondary price anymore, because if I can get this at, I think it was around $80, why would I pay, $200-300 of secondary value for 13th Colony? Welcome to Whisky and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight we'll be drinking some Georgia bourbons. So, as you know, I've been super enamored by 13th Colony recently, and I've been ranting and raving about how great their special limited edition products are, the 15th anniversary and the double oaked. But I also have a store pick here that I picked up a while ago. And more recently, I discovered there's another distillery in Georgia that does pretty good stuff. And that distillery is called Fiddler. So tonight, I want to test to see how Fiddler compares to 13th Colony. And the product that I've picked from them is this single barrel called Georgia Heartwood. And Georgia Heartwood is a single barrel product. Apparently, it is sort of weeded. It's not a straight whiskey because it's refinished with hand harvested charred oak staves, whatever that hand harvesting means. But yeah, so I tried this earlier today, and I was blown away by the similarities to 13th Colony. Of course, it's a very different product, but there is that Georgia kind of oak flavor that is very common to both of them. And I don't know if that's like the type of oak they use or if it's like just the weather, but there's definitely similarities between these two. So what I'm putting it up against is the 13th Colony single barrel. This was a store pick, I think barrel number 40. This one is bottled at 65.1% ABV, so significantly more ABV than the Fiddler, but they're both excellent from what I remember. So let's do a blind and see if the Fiddler can, stand up to the 13th Colony. It would be exciting if it does, because no one really knows about Fiddler right now. I just accidentally found out about it from a good friend of mine who is like super into bourbon, and actually he's now a bourbon master because he got a degree or a certification. So yes, let's pour these out and see which one we prefer in a blind. I'm gonna do pretty small pours tonight because I don't know why, just because. All right. That is good. They're both pretty much the same color, so we're not going to get confused. We're going to put number 1 on the 13th Colony. We're going to put number 2 on the Fiddler. Okay. Yeah, so the exciting thing about Fiddler is that one, that is unknown, and 2, I can buy it in California. I've seen it at a couple of stores. In fact, my local store has it. So I was at first a bit skeptical whether it would be good bourbon, but after having tried it, I can definitely vouch that it is definitely on profile for me. Now, we do have a common friend that is also a whiskey enthusiast, and he loves the 13th Colony Double Oaks, and he likes the 15th anniversary a lot as well, but he wasn't a big fan of the Fiddler Heartwood when he tried it first. So I don't know if it's just him or me, or it's just it's significantly different. That I mean, I guess the key point is that it is probably significantly different, that some people that like those may not like it, but for me, I could definitely see similarities, and I liked it for the same reasons that I like the 13th Colony. All right, so let's do our usual. We'll first nose them, provide some tasting notes, then taste them, provide some tasting notes. Well, I guess nosing notes at first, but then tasting notes, and then tell you which one I prefer, guess which one's which, and then we'll conclude. Let's start with the first one. Yeah, there's a very Buffalo Tracy kind of a experience to this, which makes me think it should be the 13th Colony, because I remember the first time I tried this, I tried it next to a stag, in fact, my hazmat stag, and it really reminded me of like a better version of what Stack should have been. But at the same time, I'm not sure, because there's also this like a little bit of a sourness to it, which reminds me of that Georgia character, which is like kind of a sweet oak that has been in hot weather for a long time, and you get that like early age kind of to it. Of course, they're bourbons, so you're gonna get caramel, vanilla, sweet oak. That's like to be expected. Very nice nose, very inviting. This one has some mustiness to it. If I remember correctly, I got the mustiness more from the Fiddler. Just some like a mineral mustiness on top of all the caramel and the vanilla. Honestly, I would say I don't have a preference in terms of the nose. I think they're both great. I get a bit more sweetness on this one. So number 2, a little bit more sweet. Okay, so let's go for the palate. If I was to guess, I would say this is the Fiddler. So there's a little bit of a tinge of bitterness at the start, because I think because I get that usually, it's not a bitterness that's like oak bitter. It's just a bitterness that I describe as bitter when I drink wheated bourbons. I always get like that little tinge of bitterness at the start, but then before that can develop, this gets like spicy, and then like this um, really like heavy sweet oak flavor comes out. Usually when you have oak, you just get like tartness and like bitters. Somehow the Georgia oak gets this like super sweet woody flavor that's like a sort of a wood that has been like toasted or charred even, and like just like left in the heat and glazed in honey or something. It's really crazy, very enjoyable. Love this. Okay, let's try the second one. Again, great stuff. Pretty sure at this point that this is going to be the 13th colony, this is going to be a Fiddler, because again I get like this, the wheat, for me that wheated experience is like much more pronounced. And when I go to the 13th colony, or what I think is the 13th colony, I actually get more of the Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1 character on this. But remember, I also said I get that on here as well. So they're both like that. They have that goodness of the Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1, sort of like the, caramel vanilla and black cherries kind of note. And what is different about this one is, I think, is that the oak that comes out of this one is a little bit less sweet. There's a little bit of a magic marker note to this, very slight amount. So I have to say that between these two, I think I prefer this one slightly. There's less artificial notes in it, but also keep in mind that this has been open for a while, whereas this one is basically almost a fresh crack. I just opened this yesterday. I've had the 13th colony for a while, and it does have a lot of air in it. I do usually put like preservative inside, the wine preservative gas, to avoid the oxidation by a lot, but it still gets some, of course. So okay, gosh, that's great. There's like this, I don't know how to explain it. There's just like a very candied, sweet, and oaky note that comes out of it, and it's just really amazing. Yeah. So yeah, final thoughts. Not final thoughts, I guess, before we should reveal, but final thoughts before the reveal is that I do prefer this, and I do think it is a Fiddler. Okay, so let's do the reveal. Yes, this is number 2, which means this is number 1. Yeah. So I think I need to go out and get me um, a Fiddler, because some backup of this one, because I think these are really great products, and they're right now easy to find and not overpriced compared to 13th Colony. I think the first single barrel that I bought, I had to pay secondary price for at 180. The second one I had to pay closer to 300 in trade value. So these are just getting unaffordable, and I don't want to say not worth it, because I think depending on your budget and the experience that you crave, like it's like something that you may want to spend money on. But at this point, if there's an alternative that's very good, I can probably say that this is not worth it at secondary price anymore, because if I can get this at, I think it was around $80, why would I pay $200-300 of secondary value for 13th Colony? So before I put this episode out, I think I'm going to get myself some backups of this. But yeah, if you are into 13th Colony and you think it's a great product, then definitely be sure to check out Fiddler, because it is amazing, amazing product, and they really deserve more recognition that they have, which is I hadn't even heard of them until a month ago when my friend made me try it. All right, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it, and hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye.